There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
So a lawyer that is suing Bill Gates and the head of Pfizer, Bourla, for the COVID vax injuries has just been arrested and imprisoned in the Netherlands. So the big arm of Big Pharma reaches far. So the Netherlands goes full fascist in a Gestapo-reminiscent late-night arrest of attorney Arno van Kessel 1 month before trial against Bill Gates and ours is set to begin. That's from the McCullough Foundation. McCullough, the guy who told you the truth about COVID and the vaccine and got everything right, that guy, the guy they tried to disbar and disband and censor, that guy. Yeah. So Dutch lawyer Arno van Kessel was set to lead a major lawsuit against Bill Gates, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, and former WEF chair Klaus Schwab over COVID policies and vaccine injuries, was arrested in a military-style raid and jailed without charges. So, this guy says, sounds like Democrats, doesn't it? Sounds like the new liberals, I'll tell you that. So Grok actually... We asked Grok about this. Yes, Arno van Kessel was arrested June 11th, 2025, in a raid by Dutch Special Forces, blindfolded and detained in Vot prison on suspicions of anti-institutional activities and potential violence, not actual violence.
Oh, we should get the guys from the China show to talk about this, how superior the West is.
Extended 90 days. And they extended his arrest, his imprisonment, 90 days without formal charges. So that's what habeas corpus was. That's the thing that was in the Magna Carta, because that's what dictators did, is they would put people in prison and not charge them. So that you have to be able to you have a right to a speedy trial. And you have to be asked what your charges are and confront your accuser. That's none of that. So they're doing all that stuff. All that stuff that you're not supposed to do, they're doing at the behest of Bill Gates and the WEF. So timing. A month before his lawsuit against Gates, Bourla, and Schwab over vaccine injuries suggests possible suppression, though officials cite security risks. The July 9 trial proceeded with a co-lawyer, Peter Stassen. So what was the text that you got? What did it say? Anything interesting, Kurt?
Just that guy went to jail. You just showed it.
Yeah. So that guy's in jail. And if you'd like to hear me make fun of COVID and the vaccines, you can come hear me this Sunday, August 3rd in Oxnard, California, or in Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton later in the month, or over in Chicago. We'll see you there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. But so this is this. Let me see what this guy has to say, because so now they're doing free Arno. Arno van Kessel is his name. The lead lawyer. So that's
a law in the Netherlands that go something. What was the crazy wording of that? It was insane.
That they were. Oh, you want to hear what the?
Yeah. The charge was something like sounds out of commie.
So the charge, suspicions of anti-institutional activities
and potential violence,
and
because
potential violence because he's suing them. And silence is violence. So here, let me see what this guy. So I've seen this video. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Journalist. Her name is Scarlett Karoleva. She actually used to work in the European Union. She was a press officer there. Now she's a political commentator and journalist, trying to bring common sense to people across Europe and America. She reports for RiksEurope.tv and does freelance reporting as well. Scarlett, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Alex, thank you so much for having me. And more importantly, thank you so much for shining light on this very urgent civil case that is affecting all of us.
Absolutely. It's a great honor to be able to do it. So you were actually at the courthouse when this case started just a few days ago. I know that Bill Gates had tried to get the charges thrown out. The Dutch court refused. But now the lawyer in question is kind of missing in action because he's being held by Dutch authorities. What did you see there? I mean, what are people saying? What are people thinking about all of this?
So I don't know in how much people know something about the case, but let's go back to the beginning. First and foremost, what I think people really need to understand that this is a civil case against Bill Gates, against the former Prime Minister of the Netherlands and now the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, against Bourla. And the accusations are very severe. We're talking about, according to the lawyers, not just crimes against humanity. They were saying that this is the biggest genocide that we have ever faced in human history. And it's very particular that the lawyer who was actually forwarding this lawsuit has been arrested only a couple of days before the lawsuit took place. And the way they did it was horrendous. In the middle of the night, with a special elite military force, they entered his house, they blindfolded him, they lifted him from the bed, and now he's being put somewhere, actually in the best secured prison in the Netherlands. And only a couple of days ago, so 1 month after he was detained, he was able to have contact with his wife. But can you imagine the trauma that his family had to face to be used or to be seen as a terrorist, because they really used the terrorist unity to arrest him? And the accusations that they're making against him is saying that he is a sovereigntist, that implicates that he wouldn't recognize and doesn't acknowledge organizations or governmental bodies, which is absurd because this is a man defending the law. So there are false accusations, and it's very clear that whoever is behind this, and I have a gut feeling that this has to be either Bill Gates or Mark Rutte, are trying to silence him. I mean, the timing couldn't be more of than they tried to actually obstruct this lawsuit. And you asked me from the beginning, what did you see? Well, I saw a lot of people who simply wanted to have questions, answers. They wanted to know the truth. Is this COVID vaccine truly there intended to help us, or was it used against us as a bioweapon? And it shouldn't be absurd to ask these questions. In a democracy, everybody should be entitled to ask questions and also be entitled to get an answer to it, because that is what the civil case was about. Can we let independent experts be on trial and answer questions? Because they're the former vice president of Pfizer. One of them is a former advisor to Bush, to present a new narrative. Because we have been pushed with the narrative that the COVID vaccines were good of us based on worldwide consensus by some experts, which of course isn't the case. So people are upset and they demand the truth.
Yeah, and I think it's good that people are doing that. It's just absolutely unbelievable to see this happening. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you expect in third world banana republics, not in a supposedly advanced country like the Netherlands. Truly astounding. So what comes next, Scarlett? Where does this go from here?
So they said that the court will wait 6 weeks to actually see whether they will continue this trial, which means that these 5 independent experts will be given the opportunity to present their evidence that the COVID vaccine was a bioweapon. But we still have to wait for the next 4 weeks. And in the meantime, Arnold van Kessel, who essentially is a hero because he's trying to get the truth out and sacrificing his own life for it, he's still being detained. And it's very little known how he's doing. We hope he has a good lawyer who's also been appointed by the government. So there's some shady businesses going on in the meantime.
Yeah, there absolutely are. And folks, if you have not been watching us regularly, just maybe a year or two ago, we had on this program international law professor Francis Boyle from the University of Illinois, who actually wrote the implementing legislation for the UN Convention on Biological Weapons. It was passed unanimously by the U.S. House, unanimously by the U.S. Senate. And he said unequivocally, these COVID vaccines were bioweapons under the definition enshrined in our federal laws and under the definition in this international convention. So I'm not surprised that they'd want to silence the lawyer in this case.
So no, I'm not. By the way, it was developed by DARPA, right? We all know now that Anthony Fauci, there was a pause put on the research that created the COVID virus, and Anthony Fauci just took that money and went through a CIA cutout called Eco Health Alliance and kept funding it. So, and where's that money coming from? If it's for the CIA, that's DARPA, that's the Defense Department. So, there's a lot of credibility when they say this was developed as a bioweapon. I'd like to see it go to court, and let's have a decision by a court. Was it a bioweapon?
A lot of credibility now that they arrested that guy like a terrorist for being a lawyer in a civil case.
In a civil case.
That's a big tell right there. And if one of the bad guy countries like China did that, oh my God, everybody be all over how terrible China is. But remember Curb Your Soul's Need for Freedom announcement when we played that China video?
Yeah.
I remember the rumors going around that they were harvesting organs from still alive patients. Remember that?
Turns out we're doing that.
America does that?
America does that.
It turns out America's been doing that.
Yeah. So this is your great Western world. This is your Western culture, just acting like the biggest. People like to call people fascists and communists, acting like that. That's exactly what they did. They canceled elections when they didn't have the elections didn't turn out the way they wanted. When they did that.
Ukraine can't have elections because Zelensky might not win because. I've heard rumors. Now I don't want to say these are a fact, but I've heard the 48 to 50-year-old infantry is getting demoralized.
So yeah, they won't even allow elections in Ukraine. They cancel the elections in Romania when they don't turn out the way they want. If someone's against a war, they nullify the election and they put in puppets. They now made it illegal for free speech in the European Union. All that they are
shot president of Slovakia for wanting to investigate
Pfizer. This. That's right.
This guy got off light.
So, and now they're imprisoning lawyers who want to question their corporate overlords. So this whole thing about the Western culture is better than anybody else's culture is really taking some serious blows, because the Western culture forced experimental medical treatments on people, or they couldn't go to work, they couldn't go to school. They used human beings as guinea pigs. That's supposed to be. We had to wait in line, Jimmy. That's what we said we wouldn't do after Nuremberg. That's what
we had to wait behind Israel, who got tested on first.
That's right.
That's what being the chosen ones gets you in Israel. They experiment on you first, and then us.
Yeah, you were chosen to be a guinea pig in a big pharma experiment.
For Pfizer.
On a platform, and we had to change the definition of what a vaccine is just to convince you to take it.
If you're a hostage, you'll starve to death with Hamas, and you'll watch these fat idiots not notice. And then if you do talk about it, they'll beat you with the idea. What a garbage civilization we have.
Well, if you want to hear me make fun of it and all these COVID jokes, I'll be doing it this Sunday in Oxnard, California, and then I'll be in Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver, and then Chicago and Louisville and lots of other places. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. See. Oh, Sacramento, lots of places. Louisville, Appleton, Wisconsin, South Bend, Indiana, a lot of places. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. All right, over to Steph.
Oh, okay. Had to go check on my dog right now. I'm back. It seems like the Germans were the good guys in World War II. Fly.
No, it doesn't, idiot. Oh, my God. Do you learn nothing?
It had a lot of close calls on my. I read that one from Sparky.
They're the same. Germany's acting. They haven't gotten quite to as outright about it yet, but they're very close. Does Germany now, which by the way has been run by the Nazi descendants ever since World War II, we didn't denazify Germany. We put a Nazi in charge of West Germany immediately. And we had brought Nazis here.
Right, we did a lot of import.
Germany's not the bad guy, you idiot. I think they won World War II, moron. And my evidence is they Mengele tested a vaccine on you.
China and Russia are kind of losing their patience, eh? Can we hurry up and stop this craziness, please? Kapatsi, back to Jim.
Okay,